Imagine Snow White being a slave trader and Red Riding Hood being a lightly dressed werewolf, while gnomes gobble up more wieners than a porn actress. Union of Gnomes is an early access turn-based deck building roguelite which sees us guide a group of freed gnomes through various levels, fighting against Snow White and her goons in a tough but well-designed combat system, while humorous dialogues are sprinkled throughout. After finding more sausages in-game than a girl online in her DMs, I can tell you if Union of Gnomes is a real fun or a refund. After writing in the gnome prison Nomantanamo, well, that's a name, we follow the journey of a ragtag group of gnomes in the search of their companions, fighting against pro-slavery humans and their pets. While we traverse through the southern parts of the US, we free new gnomes we can utilize in form of cards, while our hero character gains experience points and level ups, increasing our overall combat prowess. With a handful of different levels and nodes, we jump right into a typical roguelike map, encountering more than a fair share of enemies. These combat encounters see us take turns with our opponents, while we have numerous cards to play, some requiring energy to be played, while others are free of charge. The energy to play those cards is being recharged by other gnomes, making every choice of action incredibly impactful, seeing us risking to run out of energy or keeping the valuable resource for more output in the next turn. Furthermore, we have a health bar that remains throughout the mission, which requires us to provide our hero with armor or other status effects to avoid incoming damage, while our arsenal of offensive abilities isn't lacking whatsoever. With direct damage split into melee and ranged attacks, with melee hits only targeting the first enemy and ranged giving us free choice of our target, we further can inflict poison stacks, slowly damaging our foes or reduce the incoming damage with other ailments. Furthermore, each chapter has its own mechanic to manipulate to our advantage, with one seeing us gain additional cards to keep the patience of our enemies high before they rage and deal more damage, or one saw our status effects being applied twice instead of just once. Once we've beaten our opponents, we are awarded with experience points, gold coins and a new gnome card, adding more variety to our army. These experience points are necessary for our heroes to level up and gain new talents in the small but impactful talent trees, and enhance their stat points, increasing our health, dodge chance, attack damage or maximum energy, to name a few examples. Every level up fills us with a sense of accomplishment, since gaining experience points is a hard grind due to a somewhat underscaled reward from battles. Some might provide us with 200 XP or even 300, while other battles see us only gaining 20 to 50, which wouldn't sound so bad, wouldn't it be that we require 12,000 to reach level 5. While these experience points can be gained through successful story missions and by encountering random events during a chapter, it still feels slightly underscaled. On the other hand, the amount of wieners our gnomes gobble up seems to be heavily overscaled. So what are those wieners apart from delicious meat I like hot and with a bit of sauce in my mouth? Well, hopefully that won't be taken out of context. Wieners are a resource which is used up by our army. While most cards have energy cost shown on the top left corner, every card has a wiener cost, which is paid by traveling on a roguelike map. Every tile sees our army consume their summed up cost, while the refilling of our wiener storage is done by exchanging gold for them at certain spots during the mission. Additionally to traveling rations, these wieners are further useful for special abilities our wagon of gnomes can use during fights, seeing this resource being incredibly valuable. Once our sausage reserves run out, every additional tile traveled sees one gnome getting incapacitated of hunger, which means he can't be used during the next fight. This mechanic is incredibly well placed and a nice little addition to the usually simple traversing on roguelike maps. However, with the increasing cost of the army, we either have to spend all the gold coins on restacking the wiener storage and having no coins for important upgrades, or use the gold coins for buying new gnomes and upgrading them, risking to have a constant starving army, missing out on necessary cards during the upcoming fights. Both choices saw me rarely utilizing the skills of the wagon during a fight, since I either had too few wieners or saved them to travel without negative effects. Once we have traveled all the way to the end of a chapter, we see ourselves face to face with a nasty fairy tale boss like a witch, Red Riding Hood, Tom Thumb, and a Cuphead boss monster for some reason. These fights are not only incredibly tough and cleverly designed, but have specific mechanics that we need to work around, leading to mostly us retrying the whole chapter after dying with different cards, building towards that last battle. If one nut is too tough to crack, we can change our hero for another one with different passive effects, their own set of cards and talent trees, giving us enough replayability to keep us entertained for hours. The creative combat design combined with the feeding mechanic works amazingly with the neat art style and music. Apart from the difficulty and a few fine tunings that would benefit the game as a whole, I would say that Union of Gnomes is a real fun instead of a refund. Would you agree with my verdict? Let me know in the comments, and sorry for all the sausage ads you're gonna get after this video.